Hey everyone, this is Amir with Motorcar File, and today we have the amazing opportunity to bring you an in-depth review of the McLaren MP4-12C. It's an absolutely stunning car. It's the first car they're producing in-house since the McLaren F1, which other than everybody knowing it's worth $1 bazillion, the first detail they know about that car is usually the doors and that the driver sat in the middle. So this car sort of follows that same design philosophy of less is more. And the design director talks about this shrink wrap design method, which is hugging everything close to everything mechanical, keeping everything streamlined. And you can see that everything is slim, the LED tail lights are slim, everything is detailed to perfection, and everything is functional in this car. The rear valance, of course, the 3.8 liter V8, which is twin turbo, 616 horsepower, 443 foot-pound torque, all which is available at 80% of the RPM band. So we'll listen to it here. And the MP4 comes standard with 19-inch wheels front, 20-inch wheels in the rear, and of course shares this famous standard butterfly dihedral doors, which on the F1 it has it, the SLR had it, which is the other car they made, but that's not totally in-house. So you see all of these functional panels, the scoops, the front vents, everything has this streamlined high downforce, low drag approach. The LED lights in the front echo the logo, and everything is done with detail in mind. So we'll go through it in depth here and take a look at everything. Before we start the review, we would like to take a moment to send a big shout out to the guys over at Global Motorcars of Houston. They have a wide range of inventory, from classic cars to new cars to exotic cars. We're very appreciative of the relationship we have with them, and we ask that if you see any car in our reviews you find interesting or you want to know more about, that you contact Dean Bastas and the guys over at Global Motorcars of Houston.
So here we go. Let's check out the interior here. We got the key. Great detail in the key. Carbon fiber inset. Logo. A beautiful shape. Very sleek key. Here we have some of the controls on the door panel. If your car is about to get towed, if you want to open up the engine bay, the engine bay has a glass cover. Here we have stitched contours, leather seating throughout, leather paneling, Meridian DSP for the audio system, and full controls for the AC. Very driver centric, very intuitive. Here on the bolster you have part of the carbon fiber tub, and as McLaren puts it, this tub alone weighs 165 pounds, which is pretty amazing for a carbon fiber tub. And this carbon fiber tub here is a good thing to point out, because very few cars have this carbon fiber tub. You have Bugatti Veyron has it, LFA has it, Carrera GT has it, SLR had it. So a few exclusive cars have this carbon fiber tub, which is directly from racing technology. And here we have a McLaren badge, beautiful metal McLaren badge inset into the arm of this carbon fiber tub here. So let's get in the car and see more about this detail here. So as you're sitting in the car, you have a very driver-centric cockpit. Everything catered to the driver, everything available within hand's reach. And everything is beautifully stitched. Amazing detail in the stitching, following all panel lines, following all body lines on the interior. All of the seats have this amazing sort of sport detail in the bucket seating here. And this example here has the two color with the brown inlay. Beautifully comfortable seats for an exotic car. Really holds you nicely on the lumbar, really holds you nicely on your sides and grips you well as you're driving. So let's close this door here, and door operation is pretty easy. You just pull down. Once it seals, the window goes up and you're ready to go. So let's start it up and go through some of the features. So here we are, the car is started, and we're ready to go through some of the things here. So like I said, the AC controls here are very easily accessible, and the passenger has a similar setup on his side, and so he can control his climate from their position. So here in the center stack, we have AC control, the AC vents, which are all the same, very turbine like AC vents, where you can close and open them via the center knob here. And down the center stack you have your radio controls, your phone, media, nav, anything infotainment is here, and we'll go through a little bit of that in detail. And as you come down the center stack, you have McLaren's active dynamic panel, and this controls the suspension, the transmission, the drivability of the car, and how it behaves based on these settings once you activate it via this button, and we'll go through that. Going down the center stack some more, you have your parking brake, electro hydraulics, so you activate it via switch, which is what a lot of the modern cars are doing. And as you come down more, you have your transmission controls and all of the things related to parking the car and getting it moving forward and back and unlocking your doors. So as you come up the center stack and you look up here to the top stack, really the only options you have on the top stack are your reading lights and your interior cabin lighting. And next to this top stack you have this beautiful headliner, which is Alcantara, lightweight suede type material, and you have these little sun visors which are all beautifully stitched and covered in Alcantara from the factory. Amazing little visors here, very quality. Everything has a beautiful sensation of quality, amazing quality in this vehicle. So coming back here to the driver position, we already went through the AC. We have switches here for the windows and door, and the door is operated via a little click button here, right here in the driver's position. So we have the steering wheel, which is supposedly modeled after the steering wheel or the grip of Lewis Hamilton and Jenson Button's F1 steering wheel. So these grips are very performance driven in this area, in this zone right here. And you get a great feeling of that once you hold on to it. You get a good sensation of control. It's very, very comfortable to hold. So you have your honk here right in the center, the horn right underneath the McLaren symbol, and right in the center panel you have your gauges for your oil temperature, water temperature, fuel, and your parking brake. So your parking brake status here. And basically any warning you'll have is here, and any of the mechanical warnings you'll have here. And sometimes if the car has a message to give you, it'll give you in this little message zone right here. So the car is equipped with cruise control, and like Mercedes, the cruise control is operated via a lever here on the steering column, and opposite of the cruise control you have the this sort of navigates through the vehicle settings, information, if you need to clear error messages, if you need to go through different settings of the car, convenience features. This car is equipped with the intake sound generator, the ISG, which permits you to route some of the sound of the motor through the cabin, and you can control the level of that via this lever right here. Moving up the steering column, you have your lighting, your headlights. You go to bright or automatic. Forgive me. The turn signals are here for your brights are here, so your turn signal will be here, left and right. And then beyond this, you'll see the actual control for the knob for the headlights. So right now it's in the auto position. You can go into the signal mode, which is the LEDs, and then you can go into the second, which is the full-on headlight, which is continuously on. And then of course you have your rear fog lights. So from this point, we've given you sort of what's going on here. Let's go into the more of a detail of oh yeah, and these shift buttons are beautiful, very mechanical. Once you engage them, you sort of, it's very obvious, it's clear, you get a comfortable, confident shift change when you pull on these shift levers. So coming back to the center stack here, this Meridian sound system, which sounds beautiful. I mean, the sound for an exotic car is truly amazing. So we can turn it up a little bit and
came up, that's all me. Stay true, that's all me. No help, that's all me for real. Came up, that's all me. Stay true, that's all me.
Absolutely no distortion, beautiful treble, beautiful bass. For a factory system in an exotic car, this is truly one of the best that I've heard. And so you have your presets here, and if you hit this sort of the Meridian home button, if you will, it takes you into the other options that the car will provide. For example, if you had a phone connected via Bluetooth, you would hit that here. If you had an iPhone or any type of newer phone that sends data via a USB cable, like this lightning cable for an iPhone 5, you could connect it and you could push this button here, media, and that will give you all of the songs, all of the bank you have in your phone of music and stuff. You can go right through here, video, media. Navigation here, this was a recent upgrade to the McLaren lineup. You could order it as a upgrade, and then consequently with this car, we took it in for service. The good people there at Beverly Hills McLaren upgraded this car and gave it navigation. So once they did the Iris upgrade, we got navigation, and the navigation is very intuitive, very easy to use. Amazing for McLaren. I mean, they brought this production car out, and right away, quickly, it's sort of right up there with the 458, you know, and a car that's been developing since the 308 into the 458. This car came out and boom, is right up there toe to toe with it. If not in many aspects, it's better. But hopefully when we get our 458 review published, we can compare the two cars directly a little more. So you have your contacts. If your phone was connected via Bluetooth, it would actually go into your phone, get your contacts, show your contacts, and make it real easy for you to make a phone call and sort of keep your hands preoccupied with driving. Here we have the radio, which we saw previously, which will give you the presets and stuff. And then here you have some further settings as far as your Bluetooth, your volume level limit, Meridian special features and settings, Meridian Extreme, Pure. We leave it on Extreme and it sounds incredible. The system, I mean, for an exotic car, it truly does do its job. So right from the menu, we go to the radio. We can change the stations and listen to whatever we'd like. Now you have this sort of quick access button. So if you were here and you needed to go to things that McLaren sees you use often, not McLaren, the Meridian system sees you use often, it'll give you these sort of quick access buttons here. And then you can also hit mute directly if you need to, you know, speak with your passenger or something and you don't want to go through settings or turn it down. You can just hit the mute button. Now moving back and moving down the center stack here, we have the active dynamics panel, which really is incredible. I mean, when you're driving this car and you hit this active button, you notice how the LEDs around these knobs sort of illuminate. That lets you know that the active dynamics panel has activated the performance setup here, and the handling knob and the powertrain knob become active and allow you to tune based on what you're doing, so what you require from the car. So I hope you can hear it here. When I hit when I activate this panel, you get a very mechanical response from the car. You get some clinks. You get a sound here. You feel the transmission pump sort of pressurize. and you get a real audible, tangible reaction from the car. So we're going to go ahead and activate it, and I hope you can get a sense of it. So then it becomes ready. Now you have a few settings here. In the handling knob, you have normal, you have sport, you have track. So when you go into track, the traction control system suggests that it's off, but from what I understand, it does sort of still stay engaged unless you do some type of combination of the buttons to completely get it to actually turn off, which, I mean, unless you're in a racetrack, is really never a good idea. So as you move these knobs, if you look up here into the panel here, you can see that the handling message is changing with the knob setting. So we're in normal here, we have sport, and we have track. When we switch to track, you get a signal that warns you that, hey, your traction control is off, and to sort of be aware and be careful. Generally, driving this car beyond track and beyond sport on street roads is more than enough, is more than sufficient. And the way McLaren describes the normal, sport, and track modes is normal is your everyday car. They sort of describe it as an executive car, executive sports car setting. You just stay calm, the transmission shifts smoothly, the suspension is a little softer. Forgive me, transmission is here, but suspension is a little softer. The car is a little bit more manageable. When you switch to sport, you're going to get to more of an active driving, but you still could be on public roads, and you just want a more spirited driving level from your suspension. And track, obviously, they really recommend, even in the manual, to really utilize this only in track mode. So let's leave this in sport. This arrow button will pre-engage your rear spoiler and activate it to the mid position to give you a little bit more downforce. The arrow system equipped in the MP4s also have a hydraulic air brake beyond a certain speed. If you have to brake at a very rapid pace, or you have to brake at a speedy manner, emergency situation, that rear arrow wing will actually lift up completely, almost to a 90-degree position, and give you the effect of the added help of an air brake. Now, moving on to the powertrain, the description of each setting from normal, sport to track applies here. However, it applies to the transmission. So the normal setting will give you smooth shifts. The sport setting will give you smooth shifts, but very crisp shifts. So switching this over to the track mode will give you absolutely instantaneous shifts, and this car does have a dual clutch, so it's incredible how fast it'll shift both in sport and track. But this is track is a very aggressive transmission mode, and really you have to utilize that only for track use. So the only way this car lets you completely run it in a manual setting is if your active dynamic panel is on. Then it allows you to push this manual button and retain the car in manual mode, meaning that you have to shift for the car. It's not going to shift by itself. If the active dynamics panel is not on, like in this position, it's off, you can manually shift the car via these paddle shifters. But what you'll get here in the instrument cluster is a little A with a little M below the A. So you'll get an A and M insignia here in the cluster at the same time. What that's telling you is that when it feels like it needs to shift, it will actually continue in automatic mode, but let you manually shift it if need be. But it will default back into automatic mode without having this active dynamics panel on. Within the active dynamics panel, you have this winter button. Pushing the winter button, essentially what it'll do is modulate your traction and keep your revs and all your settings, so that in winter you don't lose. It tries its best to not let you lose traction. This is a safety mode for cars that are in snow, in very cold climates and snowy areas. Now you also have a launch button here. And this launch button, if you're in sport mode here and your active dynamics panel is on, you can hit the launch button, and it will tell you right now it says launch mode not available because we're in neutral. We're sitting here with the parking brake on, so it won't let us launch the car obviously, but it'll say here launch mode active, and it'll ask you to put your foot on the throttle and keep your foot on the brake at the same time. When you do that, it'll give you a message saying that the boost is building and you're basically ready to launch. Once you release the brake, the boost in the turbo is built up, and it'll allow you to launch the car simply by removing your foot from the gas, removing your foot from the brake, pardon me. So that's your driver's panel, and that's all of your driver controls here below the active dynamics panel. As we said before, your parking brake, and if we were to just wanted to drive right now, we could just hit the brake and push drive and start moving. And from this point, what I'm going to do here is open up the door and go into the passenger side and give you an idea of how the passenger side looks. So here's the panel here. To open the door, you simply just pull on this switch here, and boom, the door opens. And it of course has the famous McLaren swan doors, and the doors open up like this. So let's go around here and get an idea of the passenger side. So here we are in the passenger seat, and again, amazing detail. The stitching of the dash follow and mirror each other on both sides, and I mean, every single stitch is almost perfect. I mean, it's the detail they took, the time they took into stitching these things is beautiful. It's amazing, beautiful color combination, beautiful quality everywhere. It really, for a first production car after the McLaren F1, after the McLaren SLR that they did with Mercedes, this is truly profound how quality they made this car. The door on the passenger side works exactly like the driver's door, so you shut it and it realizes it's shut and closes the window for you for safety, and so you don't break that window. Your AC vents, again, they're free to point in any direction and close and open via this knob, and truly have this sort of like jet-like turbine look to it, which gives it a very fast, sort of speedy look, and it is very quality. The sensation you get closing is very mechanical, very quality. So you have all of your seat controls, and I'm going to utilize the passenger side to show you the seat controls. So down here you have your memory seat. Passenger has exactly the same 1, 2, 3 memory seat settings, and a heated seat. Below this, on this side, which you can't see, is the settings for moving the seat back and forth, your lumbar settings, and the back position of the seat. And these seats, I mean, these bucket seats with this insert and stitching, everything is beautifully covered in leather, and very light. And here you have the McLaren insignia, the logo in the headrest. Both seats, passenger and driver, have this same same logo, and all of the leather feels truly amazing. I mean, all of the leather is quality, all the stitching is quality, and for an exotic car, they really did the job and did it justice. From the passenger seat, you get this safety handle, or you know, or oh shit handle, some people like to call it, and it's very comfortable. You don't, as the car's driving around from the passenger seat, you feel really truly you know, bucketed in place and very comfortable in turns, and you don't feel ever some cars, when you're in the passenger seat, even exotic cars, when the car is moving at a fast pace, you sort of feel like you're on the ragged edge. And this car is not like that. It feels planted from the passenger, from the driver. It's really comfortable all around. It truly is one of the best exotic cars I've ever driven, and I can't wait to compare it to the 458 when we publish our 458 review. So that's it from the passenger. Also, one more thing from the passenger you get is that center speaker and the audio system, and you get a good view of it, of the Meridian sound system, which is truly amazing. And you get a good feel of, again, the Alcantara details, which the Alcantara goes all the way up into the A-pillar. So that's it. Beautiful detail in the mirror, that beautiful sweep back with that sort of curved shape to it. Very aerodynamic, very sleek, very quality. Truly amazing. And so hopefully you get an idea of how this car drives once we get into the driving segment next. So here we are. We're going to open up the engine cover here, and as I showed you this button before in the interior details, this button actually opens up the trunk, which is where the engine is. This is a mid-engine configuration, so your engine is rearward based on where the driver is sitting. So we push this button and this glass panel will open up to let you access the engine bay. And beautifully detailed engine bay, beautifully detailed. I mean, everything is fit and finished like a Swiss watch. I mean, you don't really see much, and I think that was by design. You sort of get this beautiful mechanical look to it, and you have these sort of detail lines above the intake and above where you put the coolant and water, and you get this sort of matching, very fit and finish look to it. And this is a 3.8 liter V8 twin turbocharged. When the car originally was delivered, it was delivered with 592 horsepower. McLaren of Beverly Hills gave it the free upgrade in mid-year in 2012, and we got the 618 horsepower. 25 additional horsepower, 617 horsepower, and a few other knickknacks that came. We discussed the navigation that came with that upgrade, but biggest thing was this 25 horsepower here in the engine bay. For a very small 3.8 liters, 617 horsepower is quite a bit. So that's truly incredible what they've done to manage to get that power out of this engine. And as McLaren grows and their production vehicles grow, they're going to use this car across a lot of their product offerings. In other words, the new P11, the 911 Fighter that's coming out, will take this motor, a detuned version of this motor. The P14, the P12, pardon me, there's no P14. The P12 will retain this engine the way you see it in this configuration. The 650S, which is going to debut here soon in March at the Geneva Auto Show 2014, when they debut the 650S, which falls in line between the P12 and the P1, that will also have this engine tuned up, people say, to 650 horsepower because it's called a 650S. But that's all speculative for now until the Geneva show here in the beginning of March. The P1 actually, which has 901 or 903 horsepower, which is half hybrid, sort of electric and gas, has also this motor, but in that configuration this motor is tuned up to 700 plus horsepower. So truly amazing that they're able to use this across such a wide variety of products. And when you close this engine cover here, one detail that I truly appreciate is there's holes. So when it's raining or anything, or when you get the car washed, I mean, there's access holes through here. So which is amazing to me that everything stays sort of clean and tidy. So I'm going to show you the trunk space of the MP4 here. And usually, generally, exotic cars don't have that much trunk space. But, you know, can't fit your golf clubs in there. But it has ample space. And if you were to opt to get McLaren's matching luggage, it fits in here perfectly, right up to the top, a real snug fit. You have a vent here, and everything is covered in this sort of velour type material. And everything feels quality. The latches feel quality. Your washing fluid gets filled here. Your brake fluid is here, and your power steering fluid is right here. And if you notice here, from the interior lining of the bonnet here, is volcano red. And this car is equipped with the volcano red color, which is one of their premier colors, but it's been wrapped in this sort of tuxedo wrap. And this wrap was beautifully done by Global Motorcars for this customer. So again, you see that the car is volcano red, but it's wrapped in this beautiful tuxedo combination. Truly a beautiful job by Global Motorcars. And if you need a job like this done, just talk to Dean Bastis over there, and Dean can help you out. I'm gonna buckle up here and start the driving portion of this review. We can easily set the temperature here and set the direction of the air and disengage the parking brake and go into drive here like so. And so we're off here. McLaren MP4-12C with iris upgrade and additional horsepower. And so right now the active dynamics panel is off and we are driving in normal mode. It's in automatic. We're driving at a very leisurely pace and the car always feels super comfortable. And when you have it in this, the active dynamics panel is off, it really does drive just like any other car. I mean, it's easy, easy ride, smooth. Everything is real responsive. And being that it's a turbo car, the low end of the power band is quite smooth. I mean, even though the turbo lag is minimal, if you can stay below the major boost zone of the turbos, where the torque really does kick in, you can get a very, very good smooth ride without having any sort of issues or anything like that. Issues meaning, you know, some violent response when you press the gas. So if you can keep it in the low power band, low RPMs, it's actually quite a comfortable car to drive and very responsive. Merging into traffic obviously is very, very easy with this car. When you have a lot of power, one of the least concerns you have is, you know, merging in traffic. So here we are, and here we go. So the low power band, like I said, right now we're staying in the 2000 RPM zone. It's in automatic. The active dynamics panel is off currently, and the car shifts very, very low in the RPM range to keep things comfortable and keep things collected. The rear wing right now is low, and it's low because the active dynamics panel is off. And so we're just cruising here. AC is on, cruising comfortable, and the car is really, really a joy to drive in these conditions. And so once we get to a little bit of an open road here up front, we'll turn on the active dynamics panel and see how it behaves under a little bit of load. So the weather today is beautiful here in Houston, Texas. You know, amazing opportunity we have to review this car for you. And if you're in the market for a car like this, then we're hoping our review helps you out with a little bit of information that might get you to that next step. And being it's a British sports car, handmade British sports car, and you get the sensation when you're driving it of a super stiff chassis, and that's really because of the carbon fiber tub and the technology McLaren has used to design the suspension system of this car. And they actually use the Top Gear test track to design all of the handling aspects of this car and tune the handling aspects of this car. So you do really get a fantastic car from the low power band all the way up to the end. And if you're ragging it out and you're on a track or something, it'll easily take all of that. And as you can see, city driving here is very comfortable as well. One thing you do get an idea of is when you're inside this cockpit, it really does feel like it's focused on the driver. I really don't get a sense of what's going on beyond this cabin, this cockpit, so to speak, and I think that's a definite plus. I mean, everything you need is available to your hand. My hand doesn't have to move very far to activate the active dynamics panel, or even change the radio station or get on the navigation screen. All of that stuff is very easily accessible, while I can maintain a forward view and a forward sight while I'm driving. And I really, really appreciate the fact that, you know, and a lot of supercars are doing this, but your main gauge here is your RPM gauge. You do have a speed monitor here, which will tell you your speed, and a digital readout, easy to read out. But focusing on the RPM does definitely help. So as we come around here, heading into downtown Houston here, the road is going to open up a little bit, and we will activate the dynamics panel here and just open it up a little bit and see how she does. We won't be breaking any laws, but we will be hitting the throttle a little bit and see how well she performs. So down here I'm activating the active dynamics panel. I'm going to lift the wing in the back with the arrow. Everything is in sport. We're gonna put it in manual, and you can see the M switches over in manual. And so now you get beautiful throttle blip downshift. So amazing. You really don't feel the turbo kick in. It's just once it's there, the power is there. So right now we're going about 70 miles an hour, and the car is really comfortable. I mean, you don't get no nervous signs, you don't get no odd feeling from the car. It always feels planted, feels balanced, you have grip. Everything feels comfortable. You're not anytime feeling like you're on the ragged edge here. And I mean, all through the turn, keep the power band stable. You don't want to speed up or slow down when you're driving a mid-engine car like this. You really want to keep your speed and your power constant through the turn. And once you've on every turn, once you know the track, once you know the road, there's always a point in the turn, a point in the apex when you can hit the power. And with a car like this, that point is a lot sooner than many other cars, just because it is so comfortable, so planted, so grippy, and the power modulation is so easy and so well programmed that point really does come sooner. And the point of braking to pick your speed for the turn comes a lot later. I mean, all around, it is a fantastic car to drive. It truly is a driver's car, and they've done a fantastic job of focusing it on an individual buying a car like this, you know, really hitting on all the topics and all the subjects and all the concerns that somebody like that would have in buying a sports car like this. Really a beautiful drive here going into downtown Houston. So we're going to give it a few downshifts. So we're at 45,000 RPM, and here we go. Turbos engaged. We're getting full power from the turbo. Amazing, amazing, amazing. And the rear aero brake. Truly amazing. Amazing car. Really, that's all I can say. The thrill and the rush you get when the turbo engages is like nothing else. It really is like nothing else. And so we're gonna exit here.
And so that'll conclude our review of the McLaren MP4-12C. This was a very exciting review to bring you guys. We hope you enjoyed it. Please comment, follow, like, and subscribe. You can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of the social media sites at Motorcar File. You can also catch us on the web at www.motorcarfile.com.